Actually, I forgot that today we have the session because mine was still just relaxing after the GBGC, and I always thought that today, more than us, we can take the satsang, there is no problem, but whether listeners are already saturated, whether there will be anybody to listen to. Anyway, we are back, and I am happy to be back also with our. Today I would come back to our Mundakopanishad where we left. Maybe two shlokas again, two mantras again we will cover today. It's not only Upanishad, we discussed about the backdrop of Srimad Bhagavatam particularly, and Brihadaranyaka, Chandogya, Bhagavad Gita, many others, saying that everywhere it is the same thing. They emphasize that it is something of a kind of a transformation that we are looking for everywhere. It is neither the scholarship nor the hard tapas, harsh tapas, nothing like that. Finally, it is the buddhi which has to become pure and sharp and supple and penetrating also, penetrating and expansive when the truth dawns there. As long as the mind and intelligence, they are not pure, not expansive, how can the infinity dawn there? Dawning means what? The mind has to become that. Suppose the sky or the space can dawn in your mind. What will be the mind at that point? It has to become unlimited. So, how are we understanding the transcendental softness of this God realization unless our mind becomes like that? Whether it is to understand a Mahatma or to understand the ultimate truth in the form of bhakti or in the form of knowledge, it is our mind and intelligence which has to take that form. Otherwise, how will we know it? That we should remember. That's the fundamental point everywhere. Now, Nachiketa we studied quite in detail and found that the rituals are really not going to, they are not going to ensure that you are fit for Brahma Vidya. Nachiketa did not perform any rituals or anything, but he had enough of sadhana chatushtaya. Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadamadi, Shadga Sampatti, Mumuksha. That the Upanishad has shown. And he became fit for, he became a very good disciple for Yamaraja. Similarly, in this Mundakopanishad, the first two mantras, I said that it is the Sampradaya or the Guru Parampara. Why two full shlokas, each having 4 lines like that? They have devoted to this Sampradaya, to the Guru Parampara. It is only to show the importance of it, importance of the Guru Parampara. Because as even if it is pure milk, if you pour the pure milk in a dirty vessel, the purity will be lost. So this pure knowledge has to be poured in a pure vessel, pure adhara, we say, pure constitution of our being. Then only this knowledge can be retained in its pure form. This I also exemplified that Shukadeva coming. Who was Shukadeva? He was a Brahmajnani from the beginning. And he was lured to learning Srimad Bhagavatam by Vyasadeva himself. Because otherwise Vyasadeva felt that who will do the propagation of my Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam Vyasadeva wrote at the end of his, after writing all everything, the Ashtadasha Purana and Veda Vibhaga and Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita. After that he felt like writing and wrote. Where is that pedestal then? That bhakti, it is not below anything. It is not below the Bhagavad Gita or anything like that. Bhagavad Gita also puts bhakti at the last point, jnana and bhakti at the same level. So, but he felt that who will do the propagation, the dissemination of this bhakti? Because in bhakti he took, the purpose was to enlighten the entire society. So society consists of various kinds of people we have to see. As in Upanishad we are saying that no, if you are not pure, if you are not having enough sadhana chatushtaya, you are not a fit receptacle. So such people will generally not come for Upanishadic study. So it is already automatically restricted. But when Srimad Bhagavatam is being sent to the society for enlightening everybody, that means various kinds of people will be listening to it. They will disseminate also. Now if their mind is not pure, then the pure Bhagavatam will be petrified. It will be polluted. That was Vyasadeva's anxiety. That it contains various kinds of human behavior, but it has been put from the mind of a Brahmajnani. So it gets pured by that. Similarly, as Bhagavatam itself says that coming out of the mouth of Shukamuni, it is an Amrita Phala, it is an immortal nectarine. Because coming out of that purity, it has that pure dimension over there. We should try to understand. These are very, very, very important points. What did he do? Shukadeva will not come. So he sent people to somehow to get him. And after he got, what happened? Shukadeva became absolutely harmonious with the whole universe. So wherever he was moving around like an avadhuta. And when the people means what? You should understand the description given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Who were the people sitting around? Parikshit, King Parikshit. It's not ordinary people. There were Rishi, Muni, scholars, mostly rishis and sages and saints. They were sitting around. Now when King Parikshit asked for a direction, an upadesha, advice, that how can he become completely merged, how can he completely get merged in the Brahman, in the truth, within these 7 days, before the Takshaka comes and bites him. Before the snake comes and bites him, he has to get completely. Yesterday I was talking in GBGC about the yoga. Yoga means the fusion of the egoistic identity, the limited, small, body-mind limited identity into the universal Brahmic identity. Aham Brahmasmi, that which I am calling as I, that is the universal consciousness. So that merger has to take place within 7 days, so that he doesn't even come to know that the Takshaka came and bit. And that is what happened, as the Bhagavata describes, that within 7 days it happened. When the Takshaka came and bit, the body got burned. But by that time Parikshit was not there anymore. Now what I wanted to say is that when he asked these respected sages and saints that how can I get liberation in 7 days before the snake comes and bites me. They all started looking at each other. Bhagavatam describes the scene that these sages, scholars, all the jnani, mahatmas, etc., they started looking at each other. What were they talking about? We know this yoga, I know that yoga, we can have karma yoga, we can have jnana yoga, we can have tantra, we can have bhakti yoga, but we don't know how to get liberated in 7 days. I have practiced throughout my life for 60 years, 50 years, 30 years, but still I doubt whether I have got liberated or not. All these things were going on in them. That is, they could not have the courage to come up and say that, yes, I will tell you by which you can get liberated before the Takshaka comes and bites you. What does it mean? That shows the realization is not that easy. There can be so many Mahatmas, so many sages, so many who have learnt all the Upanishads maybe. Even then, they might not have the anubhuti, might not have had the knowledge which they could immediately tell. Somebody should have come up and said that, yes, Raja, I will tell you. And should have started advising him right then. But no, nobody was there. So Shukadeva's providential arrival, we call it providence. Actually, it is a harmony that a person whose mind is not having any limited identification, he goes here and there called by the Prakriti, by nature, and his purpose is served by that. Our sages also were moving from place to place like that. All over the country they were moving. Who will be benefited by that? They did not know. Somebody from somewhere would come. That is why we have the belief that if you are a real sadhak, you don't have to look for a guru. Somehow you will get the guru. Or if you look for a guru also, if your inmost desires are all pure and you want only this, you will get the right guru also. All these things are said because of that. There is a providential order. There is a natural order. There is a natural harmony. So when Shukadeva arrived, seeing him itself, all the Rishi Munis, they felt that, somehow Providence has sent him. We are all relieved. They felt that they are all relieved. Now, they all prostrated before Shukadeva to tell them about what the king wants to know. And there comes the advice from the Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva's mouth. Now, what it is, that how it has to be delivered from a pure adhara. Adhara means the receptacle. It has to be absorbed by a pure receptacle and it has to be delivered by a pure being. Because of that importance, they have given the whole Guru Parampara, how Atharva, Angiras got this knowledge. And Angiras is the Guru of this Mundakopanishad. And to that Angiras is arriving a householder. But he is a great householder. Mahashalaha. Shal means house or fort also. So Mahashalaha means house or fort. Mahashala means a great holder of fort or house. So he was a great householder, means it doesn't mean that he had a 14-storied building or a huge palatial building. No, not that. Our country was not like that. In our country, the treasure was never having a huge building or palace or anything. It's all the inner treasure. So a great householder is one who has lived his life as prescribed by the Vedas, that remembering always that there is a truth. Yam labdhva cha aparam labham manyate nadhikam tataha yasmin sthito anadukhena gurunapi vichalyate. Yam labdhva cha aparam labham manyate na adhikam tataha. By gaining which nothing more I would have. Knowing that when he is undergoing the household life where the reasonable, rightful desires are fulfilled, but not fulfilled in a wrong manner, fulfilled on the basis of dharma he has learned. A great householder means he has undergone the tuition under a gurukula, under a rishi in a gurukula, where he has learned the codes of dharma. According to that dharma, he has lived his life and not only earned money or ruled the kingdom. If he is a king, he has ruled the kingdom. Not only that, he has fulfilled his rightful desires so that he has outlived the desires. This is very, very important. The Shastras are not asking you to always leave the desire. They know very well. The Shastras are not written by fools. They know that the 99.9999% people are haunted by desires of various kinds. So if you ask them to leave the desires, is it possible? It's not possible. But they have given us the way to live the life by fulfilling the rightful dharmic desires in the manner that you will be able to outlive the desires. How will you outlive? You have your desires, but never think that I will be happy by this. As I said earlier also, various occasions I have mentioned, that our trouble is when a boy falls in love with a girl, he thinks that by marrying this girl, I will become happy. And he doesn't see anything else. Not father, mother, not service, nothing. Somehow if I can marry that girl, I will become happy. And after marriage what happens? He had never become so unhappy perhaps. All kinds of differences, and finally in many cases nowadays it's divorce also, whatever it is. So the problem is that Shaunaka was not like that. Their tuition under the Gurukula made him think that, well, if I feel that I have to marry, I have to have children, without marriage, without children, can the society ever exist? Who will ask you not to fulfill such desires? It is essential for the existence of the society. But they have learned that we should not do anything in fulfilling our desires, we should not harm anybody, we should not do anything wrong, and not only that, by fulfilling this desire, I am not going to become fulfilled. I will fulfill this desire alone, and then again our lack of fulfillment will still persist. That means knowing that there is some great labham. It is not a labha, it is not a gain, but we think that it is a gain by which our life will be fulfilled, and it is not anything from the world. So, knowing that when we fulfill our desires, when we remain active, knowing that it is not going to make me permanently happy, I am doing it for this objective result. This has to be, when I am building the house, definitely with the objective aim that this house will be like this, like that, it will have opening on these sides and closed on that side, etc. All the planning, everything is done according to the thought that the house will be comfortable. But at the same time, one must think that I should not think that this house is going to fulfill me forever. I will stay, whatever comfort I need, I will learn. But I have to finally go for ultimate fulfillment. That will always, like a cynosure, we say, that like a star always lit behind the brain, that always the awareness of the truth should be there for a householder also. If it is not there, you are not a great householder. You are a puny householder. You are not like Shaunaka. Shaunaka name has come from Shunaka Nandana. That means from Shunaka's putra. Shunaka was his father. He was also a rishi. So Shaunaka was a great householder, and he lived his life in such a manner that he outlived all the householderly, all the worldly desires. He outlived all the worldliness. That is why now he has come to Angiras, the great rishi of his time, asking for the ultimate knowledge. Who will ask for the ultimate knowledge? Nobody will ask unless his all other desires he has outlived. Nobody's mind will be looking for the ultimate truth. You may think that you are looking for self-realization. Actually, it is not so. You look into your mind, you are wanting to become known as a self-realized person. Truly, you are not looking for self-realization. If you are yearning for self-realization, then that path becomes joyful right there, because you cannot but become self every moment. You start coming closer and closer to the self. So, the real yearning comes when you have outlived, you have known that the joy, the ananda, the ultimate fulfillment, I cannot have from anything in the world. Nothing from the world can. Only when I can get back to my real self, forgetting the whole world, then I will get the ultimate. But I don't know, how am I to forget the whole world? So go to a person who has attained this. Go to a rishi who will take you by hand and guide you to the ultimate path. This is the reason for which they have given the Guru Parampara and then put this shloka, the number 3, to say that this is how the Brahma Vidya begins. Shaunako havai mahashalongirasam
Shaunako havai mahashalongirasam
vidhivadupasanna papracha
vidhivadupasanna papracha
kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte
kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte
sarvamidam vijñātam bhavatīti
sarvamidam vijñātam bhavatiti.
This portion you should take by heart, that it should always, you should remember this. Bhavati iti becomes bhavati iti. So you can say bhavati, or if you remember the mantra, bhavati iti also you can say. Kasmin nu. Nu is the avyaya use, that it shows the rarity of it. By knowing what indeed. Kasmin nu bhagavo ho bhagavo bhagavaha. Kasmin nu vijñāte. This is, we call it sati saptami. That means conditional statement. Vijñāte. It is saptami. It is called sati saptami. It's a conditional statement. By knowing what? By knowing what, everything becomes known. Kasmin nu bhagavo ho bhagavo kasmin nu vijñāte idam sarvam vijñātam bhavati. See, if you say like that, it is very simple. O bhagavo, bhagavaha, O sir, O great rishi, maharshi, kasmin nu vijñāte, by knowing what, idam sarvam, sarvamidam, all this, whatever one wants to know, vijñātam bhavati, becomes known, iti. Iti means that was his question, bhavati iti. That means he had the idea that there is something, by knowing what, everything will become known. That means the substratum of the whole universe with its infinite variety is not two but one, and that one is our own consciousness, our own Atma, which we always refer to as I, not knowing its real dimension. That is why we are suffering. The day we know its real dimension, no suffering. You will become like a fool, duck, Paramahamsa. So first of all, we have to know that what I am looking for, it is not available in the whole world. So why should I run after the world? Let me look for the place where it will be available. And finally, it is nowhere to be. It is not a place also. When I forget about the whole space, time, world, everything including our own personality, then only that I gets dissolved in the real I. I become the real I. Shaunako havai mahashalongirasam
Shaunako havai mahashalo angirasam
vidhivadupasanna papracha
vidhivadupasanna papracha
kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte
kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte
sarvamidam vijñātam bhavatiti
sarvamidam vijñātam bhavatiti.
Angirasam vidhivat upasanna papracha. Vidhivat, that means in approaching a guru, approaching a Mahatma, also there is a way of approach. You see that how people immediately prostrated before Shukadeva, seeing him coming, seeing his gaze, that it is not fixed on the world at all. It is somewhere about the place. None of them knew where the gaze is fixed. And they came with Padya, Argha and all. The Raja himself came, prostrated, gave him the highest seat. All other rishis, they sat on the floor. This is the humility. Without humility, nothing can be done, nothing can be learned. Shraddhanusarini vidya. Any vidya, it is Shraddhanusarini. If you have Shraddha, then only you will learn. What is Shraddha? Whatever you value. Unless you give it the value, the supreme knowledge, unless you give it the supreme value, you give it the supreme position in life, how can it come? Shraddhanusarini vidya. The vidya is following one's Shraddha. The value you give, that much of vidya you will have. If you put it at the highest value, you will get it according to that. So, vidhivat upasanna, he came with enough of humility, enough of Shraddha. Shraddha. And what did he do after coming? Doing prostration or whatever, maybe he brought some firewood also, those days that was the practice. Then papracha, he asked with lot of humility that, oh sir, oh Bhagavaha, by knowing what, everything will become known. Now unless he had known that by knowing something everything becomes known, he would not have asked like that. Maybe he has already studied that in his Gurukulam, but he has not realized the truth. So he has come for realization of the truth. We say Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava. In our Shastras it is called Shruti, means you listen to that or you read the Shastras, listen to the Shastras, listen to the lecture. Yukti, then you apply all your rational, your reasoning and all to understand that is this the final, is this the goal, etc. Then comes the Anubhava or Upalabdhi, that means realization. Anubhava means it becomes so certain to you that you feel that I would have also said this. Now what we are saying is that it is written in the Shastras that you are that, this is your real identity, that you are the universal I, that the parameter, all the Ananda, it is within and it is oozing from within. Ananda is nowhere outside. All we can understand by rational argument also, as we always say, that you are standing in front of an ocean, first time in life you have gone in front of the ocean, and you are so amazed by seeing the vastness of the ocean, you are full of joy. Why the joy? Because of the expansion of the mind. Always your mind remains small things, get completely clinging to all selfish things, blameful things. That mind, when it takes the form of the ocean, temporarily we forget all those smallness and you get a great joy. Now you think that the joy is in the ocean, but is it so? The moment you hear that, oh, you have lost your job, bas, the ocean has gone from the mind. Ocean is right there in front, nothing has happened, but your mind ocean has gone, the mind has collapsed. Oh, what shall I do? Shall I go and catch hold of my boss's feet or anything like that? So the joy is not in the ocean, joy is in the mind. When the mind takes the dimension of the ocean, the mind becomes joyous. So when we understand means we realize that the joy is not outside but within. Will you anymore again run after the worldly things to become delighted or happy? I showed you the picture yesterday, I think all of you were there. The donkey as well as the human being, as Namrata was saying. If you run, then it will be like that only. So he asked, by knowing what, everything will become known. Now this is the Patabhumi, this is the backdrop of Mundakopanishad. Then Angiras starts replying. See, the same thing is there in Bhagavad Gita 7.2. Yajñātva nehanyat neha bhuyanyat jñātam abhashishyate. 7.2 na? Jñātavyam abhashishyate. See, I tell you, I don't know Bhagavad Gita, this is it. 7.2. 7 chapter, second verse. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyamya sheshatah. Jnanam te aham savijnanam. Not only knowledge, with the vijnana, I am telling you, vakshyami asheshatah. Completely, without retaining anything unknown. Yajñātva, by knowing which, neha bhuyaha anyat jnātavyam avashishyate. By knowing which, here in this world, nothing else will remain to be known. It's the same question. Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati iti. That day I remember with Rupa's question, she had asked me something. In reply to that, I was saying that there is one truth. Even the scientists, the real deep scientists of the 20th century, say from 1906 to 1926, around that period, when the quantum physics was developing at that time, the great scientists, all of them were Nobel laureates, those who were contributed in that period. Many of them, quite a few of them, they had been saying that Vedanta has the ultimate answer. It is Indian spirituality which has given the ultimate answer, and consciousness is the ultimate truth. Not only that, even if they don't have the Vedantic idea, they were definitely believing that the ultimate discovery will be of one, that the whole multitude has come from oneness. Now, how is it that it is our innate nature? We are that soul, we know, we are that consciousness. And somehow it is ingrained in our deep in our intelligence, deep in our mind, that there is one in which this multiplicity is appearing to be. They were not spiritual sadhaks, but how is it that they are always, even now people are striving for the unified field theory. What does it mean? That is, there is one field which can explain all the forces of nature, everything of nature. Of course, it is in the objective plane. In spirituality, we are in the subjective plane. So, everywhere you will find a resonance of Shaunaka's question that Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati iti. Tasmai sahovacha
Tasmai sahovacha
Dve vidye veditavye
Dve vidye veditavye
Itihasma Yad brahma vido vadanti Parachaiva paracha Tasmai sahovacha. Angiras, hearing Shaunaka's question, he says, Dve vidya is Trilinga. So it is like, so two are there, so Dve, lata late lataha, Dve vidye. Dve vidye veditavye. Now they have used vidhiling, that means ought to be learned. There are two knowledges which are ought to be learned. Two vidyas are there which have to be learned. What are they? That they are all yad brahma vido vadanti. They are knower of Brahman. They say that two vidyas are there to be learned. One is para, another is apara. Para means the supreme vidya and apara means the inferior. So they are not saying that only the supreme, the inferior also has to be learned. That is the emphasis here. Now, saying that, he is defining what is that para and what is that apara. Tatra para, first apara. Tatra para
Rigvedo
yajurvedaha
ऋग्वेदो यजुर्वेदः
सामवेदो अथर्ववेदः
सामवेदो अथर्ववेदः
शिक्षाकल्पो व्याकरणं निरुक्तम्
शिक्षाकल्पो व्याकरणं निरुक्तम्
छन्दो ज्योतिषमिति
छन्दो ज्योतिषमिति.
So the first portion of this mantra is saying Tatra Apara. First he is saying what is the inferior knowledge. Rigvedaha, Yajurvedaha, Samavedaha, Atharvavedaha. That is all the four Vedas. So all the four Vedas which contains all these Upanishads, this Mundakopanishad is belonging to Atharva Veda, of which the Rishi is Angiras. Do you get it? So Mundakopanishad is saying that Atharva Veda is inferior knowledge. Not only Atharva Veda, all the four Vedas. And what else? The 6 Vedangas, 6 other, I don't know this Vidya, how to translate it, the other streams of knowledge. The 6 streams of knowledge, other streams of knowledge, they are called the limbs of Vedas, because once we study these 6 limbs, then we can easily penetrate the Vedas. Otherwise, it is difficult to understand the real meaning of the Vedas. Nowadays, we have the help of other people, that mainly Shankara Bhashya is there for all these Upanishads. So, we are able to understand easily wherever the language becomes very difficult, like in Chandogya Upanishad and all. In some places, it's quite difficult. But because of the Bhashyas, we can easily read. So these 6 Vedangas are the accessories, the associated limbs of Vedas. They constitute the Apara Vidya. Actually, there are other Vidyas also, like as Narada said in Chandogya Upanishad, that's Sharpa Vidya, then all the black magic, snake magic, this, that and all, they are also Vidyas. Like that, there are many other Vidyas. Then many things, Dhanur Vidya, etc., they are all, Dhanur Veda, etc., they are part of Atharva Veda, I think. Dhanur Veda is there, Ayurveda is there, they are all part of Atharva Veda, perhaps, I don't know. So, saying all that, he is saying Apara. Then what? Oh sir, you have already included all the Vidyas in inferior. Then what is the superior? What is the supreme? So he is saying Apara. What is that? Apara.
Apara.
Yaya tadaksharam-adhigamyate.
Yaya tadaksharam-adhigamyate.
Yaya tadaksharam-adhigamyate.
Yaya tadaksharam-adhigamyate.
See the beautiful expression. He has not named any Vidya here. He could have said the Upanishads and all. They are part of Vedas. Nothing. He says Yaya tat aksharam. Aksharam means unchanging, imperishable. Adhigamyate means the imperishable is realized. It is not only gamyate or known, it is adhigamyate. The imperishable is grasped, is realized. Adhigamyate here is realized. Yaya, by which tat, that imperishable is realized. By which the imperishable is realized. Yaya tad aksharam adhigamyate. Now what is aksharam? I am repeatedly saying that immortal amrita akshara, immortal, imperishable, unchanging, can never be there in anywhere in the objective field. Because object means it is born, it is created. Anything that is created means it is moving, it has energy, it will move, it will change. And by the change, finally one day it will get destroyed and giving rise to another. So the whole objectitude is under the rule of time, space and causality. From cause is dying and effect is born. Cause is dying and effect is getting born. There cannot be anything unchangeable in this universe at all, in this objective universe. The only unchanging immortality could be the revealer of this changeful world, the consciousness that we refer to as I. So that becomes realized, is what he is saying, that you may read the Vedas, you may read the Upanishads, you may have read all the Vedangas, but if you have not realized the Akshara, the imperishable, the immortal, Avyaya, Akshara, Amrita, if you have not realized, then your knowledge is Apara Vidya, inferior knowledge. Even if you have read all the Upanishads or all the Vedas, it is inferior knowledge. The supreme knowledge is that by which the Akshara, Avyaya, Amrita is realized. What is the realization? By knowing, we are knowing about the Akshara, Amrita, all the Atma, Brahman, we are reading. We are knowing about it only. But when will we call this theoretical knowledge realized? When it will no more remain a second-hand knowledge. You will feel that, oh, I would have also said this, like the rishis. Whatever they have said, so far I am believing in them. But now I no longer need them. I understand. I know what it is. I would have also made the statement, same statement as the rishis made. See, it is nothing alaukika. Whenever we say realization or so, anubhuti, upalabdhi, people have it, oh, it is a mystic realization, it's something of the mysticism that you have, haripulation, you had this, those are nothing. Those are only some physical sensations and all. It has nothing to do with the ultimate anubhuti of the knowledge, the upalabdhi of the knowledge. The knowledge, anubhava, is when the knowledge becomes our own first-hand knowledge, that we can feel that I would have also said it. It is no more second-hand, that I have known it from my guru or known it from the Upanishads, known it from reading the books. No, not anymore. So it happens by a very sukshma, very subtle vichara process. Doing the vichara, the buddhi undergoes a complete transformation. Vichara tikshnatam dhi pashyati param padam dirgha samsara rogasya vicharohi mahaushadham. Vicharat tikshnatam dhi pashyati param padam. The dhi we have, which is from which the intelligence is sprouting. That is the dhi, the basic understanding, the fundamental point of our intelligence. We call it prajna also, we call it pratibodha also, various terms are used. So, by constant vichara, the buddhi undergoes purification, sublimation, sharpening. By happening like that, the buddhi, the basic buddhi, the fundamental of buddhi, that sees the supreme pada, the supreme reality. Dhihi pashyati param padam. It is not seeing with the eyes. They are saying pashyati, but actually it is ikshana. In many other places they will say ikshana, which is the darshana of the buddhi, which is the vision of the buddhi. Dirgha samsara rogasya. What is this samsara roga? Samsara, worldliness. Why it is called samsara? Samyak sarati iti. The basis of this world is drifting, shifting, moving. Without movement, without energy, there cannot be any world. Even the smallest particle or particle-like something is not possible without movement, without energy. Creation means changeful. Samsara, samyak sarati, that is why it's saying. It's not just drifting. Samyak sarati, the very basis of existence is drifting, is moving, changefulness. Without that there is no world. The moment you become unchangeful, there is no world. Nothing can be there. The only consciousness, which is not changing at all. So, vichara tikshnatam etya dhihi pashyati param padam Dirgha samsara rogasya vicharaha hi mahaushadham. So this samsara roga, that disease of always getting entangled with the changeful objects of the world, changefulness of the world, that disease, the great medicine for that is vichara. So it is by vichara, yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate. That is the paravidya. By that, the akshara becomes realized. Now here I had explained, I think, but I don't remember whether I had done it here or not, that see these Rigvedaha, Yajurvedaha, Samavedaha, Atharvaveda, the 4 Vedas, then these 6 branches of knowledge, streams of knowledge, they are all disciplines. So although nowadays we don't learn many of these, the question is this discipline and perfection. Unless our whole being is extremely, the other day also I was saying, it has to be harmonized, it has to be purified. So a discipline is necessary so that you feel the harmony inside. It is called antashitalata, that you will feel the coolness inside. Outside there might be so many things disturbing you, but that coolness of the harmony, that absence of the clashes and frictions inside, in Sanskrit we call it klesha, absence of all kinds of kleshas inside, that will come through discipline and practice. That is why we emphasize various kinds of rituals or chanting or upasana, all those things are necessary for that. So these 6 disciplines, shiksha is the science of pronunciation. Shiksha, there is a shiksha branch also in Taittiriya Upanishad. Shiksha means the science of pronunciation, the discipline or the science of pronunciation. Why it is given so much of importance? You can easily know this Sanskrit, why this language has not changed over thousands and thousands of years. It has been taken to such a perfection. How is it possible? How much of labor, how much of discipline has gone behind it to create such a language? So disciplined, so orderly, so deep. So this pronunciation, if it is not properly done, then the word will lose its power. This Shabda Shakti, if anybody is interested, can go into and read that there is a very interesting science behind it. That how the power inside is getting transformed into Shabda and finally coming out of the tongue with its full power. It will come out from the tongue with full power when all the discipline of pronunciation is followed. That is in Vishnu Sahasranama also, not only the Upanishads. Upanishads have to be done very powerfully. There also, first of all, you have to know the pronunciation of each letter, particularly where it is a joint letter, what is following what, etc. we have to know very well. That is not enough. Suppose it is not coming properly through your tongue, you have to listen to the sound and incorporate the correction, put the tongue in order so that the proper pronunciation comes. That is also not enough. Even if the pronunciation is apparently all right, it will not carry the power of the word unless you understand the meaning of the word. It will not have. Even if you understand the meaning of the word, Ucharana will become a little more perfect but not fully done. Because what is the word conveying? It is conveying a bhava of the mind. Where from the word is coming? It is originating in the mind. So finally that mind power has to be communicated. The person receiving should, even if he doesn't understand the language, to some extent he will be getting the bhava through just by the sound, as it happens in Omkara also. So that bhava has to be communicated, which means I repeatedly say that it is an emotional association. I say that Mahakarta. Why we are saying Mahakarta? We could have said Mahakarta. What is the difference? Both pronunciations are correct. I say Mahakarta. Or you bend as you do Vishnu Sahasranam. Like that you sit. Mahakarta, Mahajnani, Mahabhokta. What is happening? Maha means it is pervading the whole universe. Mahakarta. So the bhava has to come out of the tongue. Then the communication will take place. So it is not just simple thing. That there lies the greatness of our literature. See, they have not neglected pronunciation as something very easy like English. You know the pronunciation. To knowing the pronunciation also you have to listen to somebody or know from the dictionary. There is not much discipline there. Because as we always say, beauty put beauty, but that is, it's not phonetic. Even Bengali is not fully phonetic, although Indian languages are supposed to be phonetic, but not like Sanskrit. So, this kind of a discipline is the Shiksha. It is called Vedanga. It is one limb of the Veda, and the first they have mentioned, Shiksha. Similarly, the next one, science, that is the Kalpaha. Kalpaha means the science of rituals, science of Achara. That is too elaborate. The Vedas are full of those rituals. What kind of Homa Kunda, what are the mantras for that, how you should sit there. There are many details of, it's all based on science, science of rituals. Our every action is supposed to be guided by these universal laws. Then only we will become harmonious with the universe. If we are taking food, it is not that food has been given and first you got the payasam or something which you like very much, and maybe he is pouring the other sabji also and you have started eating the payasam. No. Our country will not allow it. All the materials, whatever to be given is given. Then you have to get rid of your greed and hatred also. So you take a little water which is not having much taste at all, but which purifies everything. Like that water, this mantra will purify your inner being. Brahmarpanam brahmahavi, brahmagno brahmanahutam, brahmaiva tena gantavyam, brahma karma samadhina. That everything is Brahman, means everything is consciousness. All other things, whatever variety we are seeing, it is appearance on the Brahman. So do we have a special clinging for the good taste or a special dislike for the bad taste? You will become absolutely balanced. Doing such thing or thinking of your Guru or thinking of your Ishtadeva, then you start taking food properly. There are achamanas for everything, that the taste of anything you have done bhoga, for every bhoga. Bhoga means enjoyment. For anything you have enjoyed, the taste will linger. The material is over. It is not only that, even suppose you have seen something and you have enjoyed that scene. Now that taste of that scene will linger in your eyes as well as in your mind particularly. That lingering taste is the uchishta. Uchishta means after taking food we wash our mouth. So our people said only mouth washing will not do. You have to wash your mind also to get rid of the lingering taste of it. Whatever you have done the bhoga, that lingering taste has to be removed by achamana. So we do achamana for all the sense organs, so that they are freed of their clinging to anything. People ask that you are saying clinging to likes and hating dislikes, how to do it, how to do it. The methods have been there in our country. So this science of rituals, don't think that these are all, we don't have to know anything about it, they are all unimportant now. They are important. At least you have to understand their basic philosophy, the basic science behind that. Shiksha kalpo vyakaranam. Vyakaranam means grammar. This is the science of expression. That is word linkage. That how do you place the words in a sentence? Suppose you want to say Rama hit the red ball with the long bat. Now, where you will put hit, bad ball, etc., if you reverse it or change it, the bat hit Rama with the red ball. Does it mean? So don't you have to know the grammar? Grammar is absolutely, otherwise you want to say something and you will communicate something else. The other person will think, suppose you are asking him to bring water to you, he will go and jump into the water. It can happen that you are ordering him to jump into the water. Without grammar, nothing can be done. So Sanskrit grammar is it is the most amazing grammar in the world. The Panini grammar, what people know, and the way he has composed it also. These are all stories. Stories means they have become legends. And all the scientists, they agree that such a grammar is not available anywhere in the world. So is it just simply to be read and go to the next verse? We should get stuck here and start reading each of the Vedangas. So this is, I would like to call it the science of expression. That there is in English grammar, there is another syntax rule or something. That is the positioning and linkage of the different words. Then comes the word itself. Shiksha kalpo vyakaranam niruktam. This is, in English it is etymology, but our nirukta is a wonderful treasure. We have a book called Shabda Kalpadruma. Shabda Kalpadruma. I don't know whether it is Raja Rammohan Roy or something. That it was composed by 6 famous scholars under the leadership of another scholar. The total volumes will be, their size is 3 times the ordinary books, double the ordinary book, and the total volume 6 volumes or so. It is, if you keep one over the other, it will be like this. Shabda Kalpadruma. Like that there are other nirukta, there are various other, I don't remember all the names. So that is etymology. What is that? Science of formation of word. Science of formation of word. The words have come from a certain bhavana, from certain bhava. So there are certain root shabda in us. Say dhru, the dha rikara, dhru. It means holding. Dharana, from there dhatri has come, from there dhi has come, from there dhriti has come, dhriti. So all these you can understand the moment you hear the word and you understand the etymology of it, you can bring out what is the deeper meaning of the word. There will be various possible combination permutations will be there, various meanings are also possible, but all those meanings can be traced to the root word, which is called that etymology or nirukta. It is called niruktam. That shastra is called niruktam, science of formation of word. Then comes chandaha, prosody, chanda. Oh, so many chandas. It is wonderful. If you can read, there is one book by Sampadananda Mishra of Sri Aurobindo Ashram. The other day I said that the wonder that Sanskrit is, that is one book by him, Sampadananda Mishra. Another is on this various meters. Oh, you should read. I don't have time, but whatever little I have read, it's amazing the kind of meters we have. Even in, I think, Apte dictionary, at the end of it, they have given all the meters available in Sanskrit. Earlier it was there, now I don't know whether it is there. How many meters, starting from So 1 letter, 2 letter to 42 letters or 65 letters, or all kinds, 7, 8, 9, 10, everything is there. And for that also, each pada like this, that 4 division, each division, what should be the order, 1, 7, 11, 3, 4, 2, like that. Everything is specified. That is why the world has got so much of variety. Everything is knitted in a chandas, in harmony. But all the harmony, the meters, they are all different. But they are all meters. Just like our raga, ragini, etc. in classical music, so many ragas are there. How the swaras are beautifully, what do you call it? The beautifully integrated according to strict discipline, but altogether it gives a great harmonious sound. Not only harmonious, meaningful. In Sam Raga, we will feel that it is becoming dawn. Sam Raga you will feel midnight. Sam Raga you will feel the summer afternoon. Sam Raga you will feel it is now getting to be midnight. Sam Raga you will feel it is raining or it is about to rain. Sam Raga you will feel as if there is fire all around. Our Baiju Baura story also is there. It's not story, it's true. Tansen and Baiju Baura. So this is what the Chandaha. Chandaha means the prosody. Then comes Jyotisham iti. The sixth one is Jyotisham. Now Jyotisham generally we refer to as astrology, but those days astronomy and astrology both were under Jyotisham. Even now also, because how do you have the astrological determinations? They depend on the position of the planets and stars and all that. So both the two were related. They were a great science. Even the predictions done by people long back, even during Mahabharata time and all, they find that it is even now valid. The Surya Grahana and all, I have not gone into it, done by, who is that? Bhaskar and Aryabhata, no? That 7th century or 8th century. All those things are where, how did they do? They did not have any telescope or anything of that sort. Just watching and undergoing some discipline themselves, bringing their mind into a tremendous transcendental concentration. They have discovered all these things. So they all mean a great thing. That is why they said Dve Vidye Veditavye. Vidhiling means they ought to be known. Should you not know that such a great treasure is there, at least to some extent, what are they? But everything said, it is all inferior, is what Angiras is saying. That is the most important part. These are all inferior. Then what is superior? What is supreme? Yaya tadaksharam-adhigamyate. By which you can realize the imperishable, unchanging immortality. That is the knowledge to be acquired finally. So even if you learn the inferior knowledge, if you learn the inferior vidyas, the purpose of that learning is to finally know the supreme knowledge, Paravidya. I will not go further today because the sixth verse, which I have said occasionally, but I will now go deep into it from the next satsang. The sixth verse of Mundakopanishad is one of the most important mantras of Upanishads. That transcendental, what is transcendental is expressed here. Okay, I did not chant the Shanti mantra. This Viveka Vairagya, this is the most important. If they are there, all other things will come. Through Viveka Vairagya, all other sadhana sampatti will come. Ramakrishna Dev used to say that আমি পণ্ডিত দেখলে তাদের যদি বৈরাগ্য বিবেক বৈরাগ্য না থাকে তাহলে তাদেরকে খড়কুটা মনে হয়. Maybe I am a little, might be, I am not remembering exactly his language. একটা পণ্ডিতের যদি বিবেক বৈরাগ্য না থাকে তাহলে খড়কুটো মনে হয়. Ramakrishna Dev's statement. If a scholar I see, because many people were coming to see him, if I see a scholar who does not have viveka and vairagya, I think him to be a hay, a straw. I consider him like a straw. Khadkuta mane hay and kutata ki, oh, cut straw. Om Om Bhadram Karnebhiः Shrunuyama Devaः.
Om Bhadram Karnebhiः Shrunuyama Devaः.
Do all together, there should not be any disharmony, and keep to my pace and my accents, then it will automatically be like Om Bhadram Karnebhiः Shrunuyama Devaः.
Om Bhadram Karnebhiः Shrunuyama Devaः.
Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraः.
Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraः. Sthirairangaiः
Tushtuvamsastanubhih.
Tushtuvamsastanubhih.
Vyashema devahitam yadayuh.
Vyashema devahitam yadayuh.
Swasti na indro vruddhashravah.
Swasti na indro vruddhashravah.
Swasti na pusha vishvavedah.
Swasti nः पूषा विश्ववेदाः.
Swasti nastarksho arishtanemih.
Swasti नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः.
Swasti no brihaspatirdadhatu.
Swasti no brihaspatirdadhatu.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari.